What's up, everybody? We are about to get into this. It is Friday, August 16th, 2024. We got to talk about these charts. We got to talk about this little washout. Is it over? Is a larger move down, a deeper bear trap brewing? We also have signs for 150% move maybe setting up. It's all about the patience right now, but I see you all that are in here. Falco, Darren Wilson, or Walton, I should say. Chris Pfaff, Alexandra G back in the house, Moon 25, Bad Fox, Green Day Profits, PHX or Phoenix. Not really sure how you say it. Silver Days. We got to talk about this because the charts are setting up. Let's get the target set for the weekend. Let's talk about what's going on. And I do believe Matthew Hyland will be popping in here. Everybody drop a 1 in chat if you're ready to go. Drop a bull or a bear. What are you feeling? Let's get it. Overnight, prices moved to the downside. Does it mean that the bull market is actually over? We're only going to go lower? It's only down from here? Absolutely not. When we're looking at the charts, as we can see right here, I did not even move this. This is the level we've had marked out for quite some time, and the prices come right down into it. This does not mean this is the absolute last move of the bears. We very well may get a move further down. We're going to be looking at this. We're going to be looking at what's going on with Ethereum, breakout to the downside of a rising channel, which, essentially we talked about. This is indicating a likely move to the downside. We also see on things like Solana coming back into a zone we have marked out. Are we coming down to 132 and then down here into the lower 120s? Avalanche also making a little bit of move right down to a level that we have marked out. I did not add anything to these charts. For those of you that are here on a daily basis, I've been calling some incredible levels lately, and it doesn't mean every call that I make is going to hit, but this is why we practice good, healthy risk management. The charts are setting up to provide us an incredible future if we learn to read them and understand what the signals are. This also on Chainlink breaking down below the trend line we have here. And also, where is Cardano? We got right here. Boom. Cardano also very similar to what we just saw on Chainlink, having a bit of a move there, breakout downside, come up, retesting this, coming back into this zone we've had marked out for quite some time. We got a lot of charts to go over today. We have 150% move likely to the upside signal that has been flashing for a few days now, but we got to pay attention to it in the face of the bearishness on the small time frames, in the face of the emotions we're feeling right now. Things are still absolutely incredibly bullish in the long term of what we're looking at. So what I'm seeing right now, what I'm feeling, what the data that I'm pulling together is suggesting that move that we've all been waiting on is just around the corner. It's just a matter of patience and strategy right now. So how's everybody doing? How you feeling? Welcome to the BitLab Academy. My name is Kelly Kellum. We try to bring you meaningful tools, content, resources, and an incredibly empowering community so that we can ride this to the top together. Going to the top does not mean we're going to take a straight shot there. We have to have these meaningful tools, content, resources, data, and an empowering community so that we understand how to ride these bumps in the road, and not only ride the bumps in the road, make sure any of you that are trading to make sure that we can trade our way up in asset, not trade our assets away. That's what this is all about. We got a $100 giveaway we're doing today as well on that on the tweet that you all retweeted regarding the CoinW partnership and signups. We'll be drawing that here in just a little bit, and we got some good news on that. We may be extending it. In fact, you know what? We are. So we got a whole nother tweet and another $100 giveaway that I'm going to be announcing today. So if you like that, if you like us from BitLab Academy giving back to you all, throw a 1 in chat. I'm happy you're all here. I'm happy that we're doing this together. We got the market still setting up opportunity for us. So we got about 40 people in the room. Early show just started. 23 likes. Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We got some things to cover today because the markets are chopping about, and I do think it is giving some people a little bit of worry. Darren Walton just became a member. Shout out to you. Big love to you. I appreciate you. Looking here, we're sitting riding this $2 trillion mark. We dropped about $100 billion in market cap of the entire crypto market. but we're still holding $2 trillion. Bitcoin's still holding over 1.1, about $1.14 trillion. Ethereum still above 300 billion. And, we don't need to go over each one of these, but we're going to be diving into some TA here in just a few moments. So the question is, what are we doing right now? We're still kind of neutral, but what are we looking at? Let me see, FOMO.io. FOMO, my bad. We are sitting, where are we at right now? 36 on the fear. I think on today's price action, we do have an opportunity. In fact, I would call for it to have the price action move to the downside here on all of our positions over the weekend. Now, why do I want the price action to move to the downside over the weekend? It's because we've been tackling this back and forth seesaw, just ping pong of basically CME futures having the gap below that brought us back down, having the gap above that brought us back up, coming back down currently. I'd like to see this move down throughout the weekend after the CME futures close so that we can start next week with a gap above pulling us back to the upside. We also have a couple other signals that we're going to be going over today. We're going to be looking at some TA. We're going to be looking at some signals. We're going to be talking about this as a group. So let's talk about what's going on. Well, we have South Korean pension fund. I think it's the second or third largest in the world, reports buying $34 million worth of MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy, it's a proxy. It's basically you're getting Bitcoin exposure through MicroStrategy. I love this. This is excellent to see. Those dominoes are falling stronger and faster in here. Kelly said FOMO only cares because Ethan Smith does have a meme coin that he launched on, I think on OmniSwap called FOMO. So check that out if you're interested. But this is what I'm talking about. These dominoes. The most important thing about this right now is that you do not end up being this last domino. People that are back here, takes a little bit more courage, but you can ride this market to the top and have much more exponential gains. The price is anywhere near what the high is going to be. In fact, when people think that the price is expensive right now for Bitcoin at 55, 56, 57,000, even at 80,000, even at 100,000, one, it's going to depend on the signals for where we're at in the market structure. Two, it's going to depend on where we're at on the timeline for the global liquidity as well as the Bitcoin halving cycle, and also what is going on with capital flow into the market. So when we scroll down here and we see that 1,950 funds have reported owning Bitcoin ETF holdings, with 701 of those funds for the first time this quarter. Now, it slowed down a little bit from the first quarter, but that's okay. This is still an incredible, this is almost 2,000 funds have gotten exposure to Bitcoin spot ETFs since the beginning of this year. Remember, these Bitcoin spot ETFs launched January 11th. So this is we are at the early adopter stage of institutions and corporations starting to get exposure. That's not to even count the fact that there's 330,000 registered investment advisors out there that can tap $100 trillion worth of wealth. And they're only now just getting started. In fact, yesterday we covered a story where Morgan Stanley, remember they have 15,000 RIAs, registered investment advisors, that are just now got the green light to start pushing the Bitcoin spot ETF as a financial product to their clients. Now, Morgan Stanley is one of the largest asset managers in the world, definitely here in the US. Now, if they're just started, and we just covered this story yesterday, they already, within the first week, they got $187 million worth of Bitcoin spot ETF products sold. Now, that is absolutely incredible. It's only just beginning. So when we talk about what's going on today, before we dive into the charts, before we dive into the signals, before we dive in to where the targets we're looking at, not only over the weekend, but also going into next week and beyond, the signals are lining up. It feels slow. It feels like it's never going to happen because you've had to wait a couple months as price is holding at an incredible level. It's holding at a level while you don't even understand the amount of bearishness and sell pressure that has come into this market since the beginning of the year. And in the face of all that sell pressure, we've only seen prices rise incredibly since January 2023 into where we're at now in August of 2024. In the last 3 or 4 months alone, we had Germany selling an incredible amount of Bitcoin. Prices stayed within this consolidation range. We saw 140 plus thousand Bitcoin distributed by Mt. Gox. Everybody was worried it was going to absolutely crash the market. And what have we seen? Price is still consolidating in the same range. And you're bearish? We got to get into this. We got 122 people in the room. We got some great signals we're going over today. Targets, breakdowns, patterns. And we even have a special guest, Mr. Matthew Hyland, is going to be popping on here in just a few minutes. But I got a couple more things we got to cover. So let's get into it. Again, remember, we discussed on this chart, I've been pointing to this level for some time, and it's just amazing. Of course, it's not the exact dollar amount, but look at the level the price action came into. There is a possibility this is a bear trap and this reverses back to the upside. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared for price up or price down or even a continuation sideways. On the smaller time frames, it's going to feel a lot more volatile. For instance, if we're on the 24-minute, this nice move down. Look at this confirmed move down on this retest of this previous support, and then the rejection down into a zone that we already had marked out. Now, currently, we have bounced outside of this, and we bounced back to the upside. However, we are seeing a little bit of weakness, and we're going to talk about what these targets are here in just a little bit. We got the TA legend himself, Matthew Hyland, is going to be popping in here in a few minutes. So let's continue on with the stories, with the characterization, the context that can inform us about what the price is going to do. When you're focused on price instead of on the context and the data, you are going to get absolutely wrecked. Now, I just want to remind you, the rate of Bitcoin adoption is picking up pace. It's not slowing down. Look at this dark blue. This is the rate of Bitcoin adoption. Looking at the analog, the example, the fractal of the speed and rate of adoption of the internet. We are outpacing it, which makes sense because we have the internet now. But if you count this out, 2024, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. If we counted this out, this would suggest by 2029, we are going to have over 1 billion users of Bitcoin, people that have adopted using Bitcoin in some capacity. Some will be trading it. Some will be storing it as value. Some will be using it as a currency. None of those mechanisms are wrong. If you're living somewhere where you have runaway inflation like Venezuela or Bolivia or Turkey or somewhere, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, they're not thinking about, let me store my wealth. They're like, I need something that I can transact that has some sort of reasonable or much less inflation rate than that they can see with their local currency. So understanding this and being bearish at all on any time frame under, basically a daily and above means you're looking at the wrong data. You're being triggered by price. You're falling into the trap of what big money and smart money does. And whether or not they're doing it or it's just a trap that dumb money falls into, don't be a part of that narrative. Be a part of stacking into your future. That's what this is about. So let's continue on here, and we got some important charts we got to look at. And this is what I was talking about. Mt. Gox Trustee Wallet Bitcoin balance. July, this is this year, 141,000. Now they've gone down from 141,000 down 110,000 Bitcoin. We're at only 32,000 as of yesterday. And we're seeing price consolidate at essentially a baseline level that we've seen every market cycle, which is consolidating at previous range all-time highs. There's no reason to be bearish right now. And when you're looking at traditional markets, we can say, oh, it's doom and gloom. We have what's going on with the dollar. We have what's going on. Okay, Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway, they have so much cash on hand. They don't want to be in the markets. But when we're looking at this asset and we understand the pressures coming in, understanding the supply-demand dynamic, then things are looking more bullish than bearish, and we have to contend with that. Now, we need to obviously always practice risk management and understand that markets we had a massive washout in March of 2020 when the world economy shut down. So it wasn't unique to Bitcoin. The world shut down, all assets fell, but then it had an absolute amazing V-shaped recovery, and it proved to be an incredible time to buy Bitcoin. So if we do get any sort of huge sell-off between now and the end of the year, then okay, our bullish narrative in this short-term time frame will have been wrong. However, when you look over the next 40 years, everything is only stacking up more bullishly. Now, when we go on to this chart, we also see long-term holders have accumulated 500,000 Bitcoin. I did not misread that. 500,000 Bitcoin have been accumulated by long-term holders, those hands that do hold, since July 30th. Long-term holders are not stacking at a top. So let's just remind ourselves of that. Now, again, make sure you're giving me a follow. There's been a number of people telling me that they've been talking with me online, and I'm like, I have not gotten a message from you. There's far too many scam impersonator profiles out there. Read this, Kelly, Kellam. That's only one way to spell it. Make sure you're following me there. And also, again, make sure you're following BitLab Academy here at Academy BitLab. And then, of course, we got Matthew Hyland coming on here in a second. We got his handle right there, Matthew with 2 T's, Hyland with an underscore, only one underscore. Now, before we go on any further, I do want to shout out, this channel is sponsored by, our powered by Arculus, our trusted #1 crypto cold storage solution. Head over to getarculus.com. Make sure you're protecting your crypto. Make sure you're protecting your future. This is the easiest and the most secure crypto cold storage solution out there. I absolutely love it. We did a giveaway last week, and all those things, those prizes are going out to those that participated of a couple of these Arculus and t-shirts. But make sure you're heading over to getarculus.com using code LAB10 for 10% off. Now, as we dive into this, I do want to say, we do have a $100 USDT giveaway. So let me go ahead and rotate out of this 1 second. I want to do that giveaway right now because I'm announcing another giveaway and I want you all to be able to participate in it. Let me go ahead and log in to the comment picker, because if I don't do it now, I will absolutely forget to do it at the end of the show. So everybody stay with us here. We got 200 people in the room. Everybody hit that like button. Let's get to it. Where is the tweet? It's right here. It's actually, let me come back right here. We're doing a $100 USDT giveaway, and that is for the CoinW promo we did for the free money you get for signing up and depositing money. Some people are getting up to $1,000, some getting up to $3,000. Just depends on how much you deposit. This expired yesterday, but because all of you, I got some messages from people, you wanted to participate, you didn't have your funds in order in time. This is money that you're depositing into your account for you to trade. We have no part in it. This is just to make sure, if you deposit $100 or more, you get access to our free training sessions, which is, we're going to be kicking off next week. We got it all in order now. So let me go ahead and share this right here. Put this right in here. Boom, link to tweet, and boom, get Twitter. I gotta log in. My bad. I love doing giveaways with all you guys, by the way. Logged in. All right. Boom, Twitter, and we're there now. Who's getting the giveaway? Let's see. Get Twitter data, 16. Can't believe only 16 of you guys participated, but I'm trying to give you free stuff. Robu414. I will check in with you to see if you have a UID on CoinW. And if not, then I'll check in with you after the show. If not, then we'll do another one of these giveaways. Now, as I said, we are extending this because all of you have been so wonderful, and there's been a lot of activity here. I want to make sure as many of you can participate as possible. So I'm starting this tweet again, and we will do another. We're going to do a couple giveaways on this. This is not what I wanted to do. Where is that at? So, yeah, it is. 1 second. I see Matthew there sitting in the wings. There we go. Now, if you guys want, I'm going to be doing a drawing next Friday and the Friday after that on this. So make sure, go and retweet this. Join CoinW, deposit minimum of $100, and retweet this. You'll also get this extra $100 if you win this. Retweet this. There, I just shared it. Now, without me talking anymore, I want to talk about what's going on with our boy, because he's got the charts. He's got what we're looking at today, and that is our main man, the man with the plan, Mr. Matthew Hyland. How you doing, good sir?
the man with the plan.
Yeah.
What's going on, Kelly?
How you doing,
I
brother?
think the plan is to try to just predict the unpredictability of Bitcoin and these markets as best as we can with technical analysis. And today, if we go down to the daily candle from yesterday, Bitcoin broke this support. We're currently back above it. This was a 57, around 57K. This was the wick from back on Monday. We need to close this daily back above just to start. But if not, we did retest this 56.5K area, which I mentioned the last time I was here that we'd probably test it at some point. So we did end up testing it. We do not want to see this area lost on the weekly time frame. This area is very important. This is like the consolidation zone. So we're kind of like in this bottom zone right now on the weekly time frame for a second week in a row where we're kind of fluctuating in this area. And I've been saying it, and you guys have seen me now for a few times on this show. I don't really think we're going to see too much until October or November, and this is just based on history with the election cycles. I'm not sure if Kelly, if you want me to go back to 2016 and 2020 and all that again. I've done it a few times. Do you want me to go through the
Yeah,
history again?
just do a brief reminder, just so we can all, because even the people that have seen it, it's important for us to realize this is not happening in a vacuum. There's been a regularity to the way these market cycles have worked.
Yep. All right. So we're just going to go back to 2012. Let me just draw a box to November. So this is around July. We saw a crash in early August, and then we kind of trended upward into November. This is the election right here, and then up after that. So after the election, we essentially went straight up, and then we go to 2016. Let's see.
Yeah, we could do. Hey, right, Matt, let's just do this because I got was the master tweet. This is it completely outlined.
Yep, that works. So if you look at all four or all, the past three cycles, election cycles, between July to November or October, you don't really see much. You usually see a crash right at the start of August, which we saw once again this year. And now, let me lower this camera. We saw the same thing with a crash in early August. And now I think we're more than likely going to follow something like how we saw in 2016 or 2020, where we kind of are going to slowly get back up to those highs around 70K heading into October or November. So there's a lot of time. It might be another month, 2 months before we even see exciting price action again. So just be patient. The market sometimes will do this with the timing. Even if you go back to last year, this exact same situation actually occurred also last year, where we crashed in August, around mid-August, around this time actually, and then we kind of slowly moved up into October, and then we broke out. So this is pretty much, no one obviously knows exactly what will happen, but I think taking this approach, expecting something like this at this point would probably be the best way to approach the market right now, and just be kind of tempered with your expectations. So, and now if we go over to, let's go to others. I like the others chart. Others is sitting here. This is very crucial for this to hold. We kind of drew this. I think I drew this out yesterday on my own stream. And this is really what I'm just expecting for others. And others is alt outside of the top 10. And unfortunately, right now, we're just not in the healthiest of situations with the SEC. And we don't know the stance for the Democratic Party, unfortunately, right now. And this is, I think, I'm going to post, or I'm going to go to a tweet right here. Let's see if it goes. So this is a guy I follow on Twitter. He basically said, watch what they do, not what they say. Two massive Silk Road Bitcoin dumps. And I didn't think they were actually selling the Bitcoin. And I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but I saw some credible sources basically saying that it does seem like on chain that the Bitcoin that was moved was likely or is in the process of being sold. So that's obviously not a positive sign, just in general, as we approach the election. And then there was the Zoom meeting, there's the SEC lawfare. And then, of course, we also saw the SEC go after the three venture capital firms. They got subpoenaed about a week ago. And that's the money that we're going to need for the alts. So I'm going to just go back to the charts now. That's money that the alts will eventually need to see. So right now, this whole space is just it's really up in the air. It's very election based, unfortunately. So we're kind of tied down now until at least November, unless there is a chance next week at the Democratic National Convention we could see a pivot, which hopefully that'd be the best case scenario. I think everyone in crypto would be gladly happy. I think Kelly would agree if at the Democratic National Convention they announced, hey, we're going to back off crypto. We're going to try to not regulate it as harsh as we have. If we got any like just sniff of that, in my opinion, I think then the alts actually would probably see some sort of rally soon after, in my opinion, if there was any sort of sign that they were going to back off. But we'll wait to see until next week. Most people don't expect that, but hey, this market can always be thrown a curveball, and maybe we'll get a curveball next week for the positive.
Well, it's interesting because I think somebody was pointing out yesterday that one of the crypto advisors on Harris's team is her whole history is basically financial regulation and basically confiscating funds from illicit activity. Yeah. It's like, and this is your crypto advisor. It's very contentious with that initial statement Kamala said about trying to reset the relationship with the Democrats and with what's going on with crypto and regulation. Now, I don't tend to make this show, and everybody that's tuned in now, you realize I don't tend to talk too much about politics here, but we can't not talk about this sort of forecasting or speculation. And this is what's happening in crypto significantly right now, of where that barometer is going to be on the temperature with the administration on either empowering and supporting crypto or actually just continuing to try to suppress and squash it. It's supposed to be a lot resetting with the crypto industry. Meanwhile, they're selling crypto on the market. It basically screams negligence, if you ask me, but it screams just it's very two-sided there. So it's very interesting. Now with altcoins, you showed the other chart, but are there any particular altcoins that are sort of piquing your interest right now? I know you've been showing SUI and BitTensor and a few others. Show us what you got.
Well, we were watching SUI, and I said the other day, it was down at the support, so we wanted to see what it would do here, and it has since broke below. I'd say for like SUI, if it can close back above this on the weekly time frame, that would be a good sign. But this currently looks like a rejection. I'd wait for the weekly time frame to determine that. And we go to BitSensor. Let's see. I just had it. Where was it? Oops. Hold up. Oh, let me go over here. Oh my God. Give me 1 second. All right. Tau. This is seeing a pullback. This moved up a lot. Really needs to get through this support. It's kind of in like a broader range. I would say overall right now, though, the alts, it's just there's nothing too attractive, unfortunately. And even the ones that have looked attractive have soon pulled back after, such as now SUI is seeing a pretty steep pullback. It was at around $1.10 a few days ago. Now it's down to 81 cents. So that's almost a 30% pullback. The alts, they just can't catch any momentum. And I think it's largely just due to the SEC stance, unfortunately. It's just, if we go to Solana's kind of breaking down here now. Maybe it holds here. There's some support right here. But if not, it might come back to these lower range, like around 130. It's currently at 137. Let me see. We had looked at, I think, Cardano last time that was requested, and Cardano too kind of pushed up, but now kind of slowly going down. It's just it's a tough environment. Like there's not much momentum. It's not like how it was last January. And I just don't think this might end up being a really great time to accumulate for the long term, to buy spot bags and hold for the long term. But currently there's just not much momentum across any of the alts across the market. And it's just the reality. And I think maybe if you're patient and you wait a few months, I do think we'll start to turn a corner at some point, regardless of what happens. I think we will. So.
All right. So then I'm going to hold your feet to the fire because you tend to be larger midterm into macro. If you had to guess between now and Monday, do you think that we will, do you think price, what do you think price for like Bitcoin and Ethereum, for instance? Do you think that we're going to have a pretty sedentary weekend? Do you think price will create an opportunity by moving down and giving us a gap above us with the CME futures? Do you think we might put, like, what do you think in the very near term, if you had to look at that on a smaller time frame, where do you think price is going?
It's hard to say. I want to see how it holds this area. We don't want to see this level loss heading into the weekly close. I think maybe we'll get like a smaller bounce here, but it's really hard to say. When you zoom in on the smaller time frames, it's just very hard to predict. If I were to look at the stock market, it's just this is like the unfortunate part right now for crypto. If you look at the S&P 500, the S&P 500 is now close to all-time highs off this huge green weekly candle it's currently seeing, which is going to close later today. And it's just unfortunate that crypto is just being pushed down. It's not doing much. And then you look across at the stock market, and I think a lot of people in crypto are seeing this, where they're saying, hey, like, why should I keep my money here when a lot of the stocks are making new highs, while Bitcoin and Ethereum are kind of not really doing much, and then the alts are just bleeding out. I think that's starting to play into it too, where people are just, and again, it's unfortunate. Like, I don't want to talk about politics. Like, I don't really want to talk about politics, like you said. This is just, we're just in the hands of the SEC right now in the election. It's just very, very unfortunate. And I think people that stick through it will end up getting rewarded. But right now it's just not fun. Obviously, there's no way to, sugarcoat it.
Yeah, and we're still within that 160-ish day post-halving sort of sideways chop we saw the last two cycles. I think it might be day 118 or 119 or something. And so it's not just politics. It's also the market structure. It's also us being a little impatient. It's also, two major all-time highs, almost double top last cycle, $64,000 to $68,000 range. We're consolidating at that level. And so there's a number of different things, but I will say, have you seen this? This is for anybody that saw the thumbnail on this video. I was discussing a potential 150% move. And that move that I was discussing is something I outlined a couple months ago. And that is basically, I took an aggregate of the last time the hash ribbons flipped buy signal and the move that came out of that. The average is 121% move from that point. The price has dropped down from that point now. And when we look at that, it's essentially gives us a move. If you look at this and draw this down to where we're at now, it's roughly about 150% move from here if you aggregate that. Now, there's no way to know if this is going to play out or not, but understanding where we're at in the market cycle, understanding that the miners just flashed a buy signal on the hash ribbons, aka the intrinsic strength of the network, which some would argue is the intrinsic value of Bitcoin overall, which is how strong that hash power is, because it's the stronger the hash power is, the more secure that computer network is. And it also speaks to, not only the technology involved with securing the network and confirming transactions, but there's just so much involved here. But I do think that we are going to get that move sometime between now and the end of the year. I think it doesn't mean I think we're going to hit $142,000. But I do think we are going to break out of this sort of descending, broadening wedge. I do think we're going to push up and basically attack this $68,000 range, start moving up. And it basically all comes down to this time frame block right here, which we are still short of. And we're still essentially just consolidating in a range. So I don't think there's any really real mechanism right now to be bearish unless we were to break below about $38,000. Because not only is that the sort of midterm macro golden pocket from the market cycle lows at 15,500, but it's also that support level. It's also would be essentially a breaking of the previous range lows, which is right here, the sell-off from the ETFs. This would be a break, coming down and breaking below this level would, I think, be that break of structure that then I'd be like, oh shit, but I would still be looking at it as an opportunity in the macro, because of the supply-demand dynamics and understanding the supply issuance and reduction of supply and the whole structure of how Bitcoin's built, coupled with that last thing, which is this data right here, only showing an increase of adopters over time, while we understand that there is a fixed supply. So any move down here would be a bummer in the short term, but it would scream huge opportunity for those that are prepared to take advantage of any opportunity that came down here. Again, I am not calling for down here. I'm saying this is when I start getting worried about how the cycle flow, the structure goes for the rest of the cycle. But as we're at right now, still very much within this range. Would you agree with all that, or do you think I'm an idiot and should jump out a window?
No, I mostly agree with all that, and I do think when we get through this, maybe in October, Bitcoin will start to move up. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two that don't have this regulation hurdle in front of them. They both have ETFs now, so regardless of what happens, I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will end up seeing some sort of bull run. And I do think the alts will also see some sort of upside, but I do think if the SEC just changes its stance, then I think we might end up seeing way more upside, or way more potential upside than with the SEC under attack or currently attacking it. It's just the reality of it right now. I have the Supertrend loaded up on the weekly time frame. If you guys want to check this out, I showed this last time. So this is kind of a good indicator. I'd say it's held up really well historically. It flashed green back in January of 2023. So this is at the very bottom of the bear market. This is when it flipped green, and it stayed green this whole time. We kind of saw a test of the super trend floor, which would make it flash red if it were to close a weekly candle below this. The floor is at around 52K. So we don't want to see Bitcoin go below 52K on the weekly time frame and close below it. I think that would be kind of that would flash this red for the first time. And just historically, it usually does pretty well. This is the last bull market, flash green around July of 2020, rode the whole wave up, flashed red here, but then end up getting the last move up too. And then back in 2017 as well, flashed green, and then rode this whole cycle, whole parabolic run up the whole entire time. So I think 52K is very important to hold now at this point. If we were to lose that, then maybe we're in some sort of mid-cycle consolidation area, or it's also possible at that point then maybe this was the top, but we'll see what happens. I wouldn't be ready to declare that immediately either if that were to happen, but it would strengthen that side of the argument.
I do want to shout out Darren Walton, became a member here at BitLab on the YouTube. Shout out to you. Appreciate you joining. Falco also gifted one membership. Really appreciate your love, my friend. And Ethan Smith with a $9.99 super chat said, I know we can't always move. I know we can always move either direction, but in the short term, say 2 weeks to a month, where do you think we are going? I'm feeling very bearish lately. I'm also out of dry powder. I think we just covered a lot of those questions, but there is a possibility the price action can move up between now and the election, and then potentially move back down, or even just slowly burn until we get a little bit of clarity about what direction the administration is going to go. And again, everybody needs to realize if I think of it just with the hat of crypto as a lens, I would prefer the Trump administration over the Kamala administration in terms of what's likely in terms of regulation. I'm not even speaking about anything else, just on that topic alone. However, we have to admit, if we really believe in Bitcoin, if we really believe in Ethereum, and we look at the fundamentals of those two projects and what they offer in terms of the evolution of finance, into the evolution of financial sovereignty, and also the technological advancements that those have brought to all of this whole world with blockchain, and then everything that we can do with it. I do think that especially Bitcoin and Ethereum they're going to be fine either way. Maybe the price doesn't move as fast, in the coming year. Fine. It's still going to be fine in the long run. Now, altcoins, this is where the market is still, I don't want to say suppressed, but there's a bit of a ceiling on the certainty or speculation in the altcoin market for the exact reasons that Matthew just outlined, because it's not clear about where there's going to be regulation by enforcement, support, or empowerment of that industry. So as it stands right now, we're in a little bit of a waiting game to see which administration we get. But then we have to remember both sides. It's not just Kamala. Both administrations, we have to actually see where the rubber meets the road. What regulations or reductions in regulations or changes in the SEC? We have to it's still yet to be seen where those things are going to be adjusted, changed, or completely altered.
Matthew's no, I wasn't sure if you wanted me to respond to that. I think we're just in a low period right now, but we'll get resolution one way or the other in 2 months or so. Hopefully, maybe even next week, in a few days. It's possible in a few days that we do get some sort of sign that the SEC might get overhauled, and that'd be great. So
I do want to point out this chart from El Crypto Prof Mustache, outlining these altcoin market cycle lows right when they dipped into the fear zone, right when it dipped into the fear zone, right when it dipped into the fear zone. This is a potential setup for some pumpage, but again, it goes all back to what we were just talking about here today. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. I'm going to have to cut this one a little bit short because as you all know, I had a little bit of a family catastrophe this last weekend. So I got a ton of family that's here in Atlanta, and I got a bunch of stuff doing with them. I do want to shout out everybody, all you BitLab members in the Discord. Unfortunately, this one's just going to be for Discord because our main man, Mr. John Dalton, is doing an event today. Should be starting any minute now. He's one of our top traders in our lead guys in BitLab Academy in the Discord. He's going to be doing some charts, trading targets, market update there. So just when you hear in the BitLab Discord, come up here to One Events, and he will be starting this here in just a moment. It's not going to be on the YouTube private links as well because I'm not around. I have to run and do family stuff. But we also do have an incredible video going out today and another one going out tomorrow. One today is going out with Charlie Hu from BitLayer, which is a layer 2 building out a lot of incredible stuff on top of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ecosystem. They got some really incredible announcements that they're making. So it's worth taking a look at the BitLayer chart and seeing if you want to get involved there. And there's going to be more info on that this afternoon when that video goes out. And then tomorrow, I did an interview with James Seifert from Bloomberg, the ETF man himself. That video is going to be going out tomorrow, talking about the Bitcoin spot ETF, Ethereum spot ETF. You guys know about that. But what's going on with Solana? Is XRP going to be a thing? Is there going to be an indexed Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoin basket ETF that gets people exposure to a broader range of assets within the crypto ecosystem? All that, it's going to be here on the BitLab Academy stream. And on that note, make sure you go and hit the like button on this video. When you are watching, when you're tuned in to the show, make sure when you look down, it says subscribed. And also click that little arrow, turn on the all, so you get notifications when those videos get posted. There's a lot of great information there. So make sure you stay involved here. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And Mr. Matthew Hyland himself, I always appreciate it when you pop in here and share your incredible thoughts on the market.
Thank you, Kelly. I enjoy coming on here too. So it's fun.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Stay tuned on the BitLab stream. There's going to be those videos popping out. And with that, I'm going to throw you over to DJ and Alpha to watch, check in there. If you guys are in the Discord, tune in to that member stream. And that's all I got for today. Hope you all have an absolutely wonderful weekend. And this last weekend for me is just a reminder, check in with the ones you love, check in with your friends, reach out, spend the time with people while they're here, and find gratitude and appreciation for yourself as well. That's all I got. Everybody have a wonderful day. Adios, muchachos.
All right.